Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I have not had a video up for a while, and it's been because I have been out of town for nearly 30 days. So, and I just got home. So, had an 8-hour drive, got home, and I thought it would be cool to show all of you what the tanks look like after 30 days of literally no maintenance. And I think it's kind of a cool statement to, I know this hobby can be very demanding, but if you set up your tanks fairly well, they should be able to survive periods of you being absent, you know, and fish being cold-blooded, they don't necessarily need the same loving, tender care that you give them when you pass them off to brother-in-law who's at college and running around and just happens to stop in every once in a while to throw him some flakes. So I thought I would just go through all my tanks, show you what they look like. Some look better than others, but literally I don't know how much they've been fed. I don't know. I basically leave 3 different flake varieties for the people taking care of them. And I don't know how often they come in, if it's once a day, twice a day, once every few days. I tell them not to sweat it because, you know, the fish being fish, they can survive periods without a whole lot of feeding. So here's the cardinal brackies, and they look great. There is some algae on the guppy grass there, but it's not terrible. And the 2 filters are looking good. And I think really that it comes down to filtration. You can see that the water level's down a little bit. No one's topped it off, but they're looking great. They're looking healthy. There's new fry in there, so they've just been doing their thing. And everything looks really good still. Which I think as long as you've got a good plant level, things look great. So anyways, there's that tank. We'll go up to the lace bracky tank, which is just ridiculous in terms of the hornwort is just exploded in here. In fact, when I first got home, I was like, are there even any fish in there? So they're doing great. They're in there. Everything looks good. I would say it's hard to, I'm going to have to thin that out. I can't even see the fish. But again, no real algae problems. Things look really good. Up here in the highlight porthole livebearer tank that's got the yellow jacket endlers, there's quite a bit of algae on the sides, a little bit of hair algae growing on the tops there, which I'll have to pull off. But for the most part, if anything, it looks like the population just exploded while I was gone. So again, it's not the prettiest tank. We'll clean it up nicely, but there are so many fry in there, and just, you know, I walked in here and then everyone just right to the front. Let's go. So things are looking good. So let me walk to the other room and I'll show you those tanks. Okay, so we're back here. This is the Picta swamp guppy tank. I don't really see any swamp guppies because I cannot see through the hornwort, literally. So basically in, what has it been, 28 days since I was home, this tank has literally filled up with hornwort. I can see some plenty of cherry shrimp, which are all looking great. I can kind of see my rock stacks back there. I don't see the fish, but the kids, when I walked in the door, told me they're in there. So again, I'll need to do water changes, top this thing off. But by and large, you know, in reality, it looks healthy. It's full, but this tank is looking really good. We'll go up here. This is kind of the catch-all tank. It's got some my initial platy parents for my platy breeding project. It's got some fundulus that are 2 years old. So there's some there's a black stripe, and there's some black stripes, and goldens in here. And then, what else is in here? Just some mosquito fish, some gambusia. Again, I floated that crip before I left. I was kind of doing some scaping, and I just ripped it out of another tank, threw it in there, never got to it, and it's still going strong. It's just the floated crip. It's full of, and the roots are still powering out. Everything looks really good. The Java moss, again, is just exploded. I can't even see in half of this tank. So I would say things are well. It just needs some general maintenance. You know, being water change, top off. We'll do a vac on it. But for the most part, everything looks great. And up here in the platy tank, you'll see one addition that you probably haven't seen for a while. I'm not immune to the impulse purchase thing, and I tend to feel so awful for the bettas in the big box store. And I swear, guys, I only went in looking for a gang valve, and I walked out of there with bettas. And I don't know why. I couldn't explain it to my wife either, but I've got a few bettas now, and I was feeling they were looking terrible. I got them home and put them in a proper tank, and they look great. So this is one of my males, and yeah, I don't know anything about bettas. He looks good to me, and they're a little puppy doggish. They're pretty fun. I have to admit that bettas, I can understand why people are crazy for bettas. They're really fun. So those are going to go into a little area that I'm going to do for the kids, and eventually I think we'll do a little betta breeding project and just see if we can do it. And the kids wanted to see if they can find some friends who want an introductory fish, and I think a betta is a great fish for kids to learn because they're pretty tough, and so we're going to see if we can do that. So the platies are doing great. All the Amazon swords are just doing great. I love this tank. I'm on an Amazon sword kick. They're my favorite. So I've got some red melons here. I've got two. I've got ones, gosh, what are they called? The Kleiner bars, and they're in the back. They're hard to see. Hopefully they'll kind of grow up. I need a stool to kind of show you. And then these are the ones that are kind of sold as Oriental. I'm not sure the species on them, but there's a little bit of algae on there, mostly brown algae in this case, not green algae. So, but by and large, everything is doing well. I am surprised that the Salvinia is kind of looking sad. So maybe it needs a water change. Maybe the pH is not right. So we'll see what's going on in there. But for the most part, for not touching this tank for nearly 30 days, it's looking really good. So if we go right across, this is the, there's white clouds in here. There's Giardinus uninonatus, the one spotlight bear, and they look so good. And you can see what I did is I had to pull out before I left, I pulled the big rock that was in here out. I was a little worried being gone so long. You know, that rock takes up so much water volume. So I did pull that out. I kind of just rescaped with a bit of rock that I've gotten. This is the same rock that's in the lace bracky tank. And I just kind of put it in here, put the Java moss on top, and hit them, you know, threw a couple handfuls of Salvinia in here just so everything was going. And then you can see I've got another betta. He's pretty hard to see in this lighting. I wish I could show you his color. He's just like dark blue, almost like blue-green aqua. Not like this kind of truer blue, but really cool. And so anyways, this tank has got, you can see right here, brown algae, some hair algae growing up on the top of the heater. So not the neatest and tidiest, but again, for just having someone throw some random, you know, and I don't even know how much he's feeding, if he, you know, is feeding too much. I'm guessing he's overfeeding, but probably not very frequently. And it looks great. So he did a good job. Down here, this tank is looking really dim because the salvinia has just exploded. But this is the, what have I got in here? Oh, the blue-tailed goodies. And they look good. She's a pregnant female. Here's my female betta for my eventual betta breeding project. And she's pretty. She's actually, in my opinion, she's prettier than the male. She's just stellar. And again, I love how friendly they are. They know exactly who you are and where you are. And she's hoping for bloodworms tonight. So I'm sure everyone's tired of flakes. Let's do something different. So we're gonna do that tonight. I do have some more. I've got a number of different plants in here that once I get this Java moss out of here, I'll hopefully clean it up and you can see. But again, in here, not really an algae problem. I think because of the salvinia is really keep the light down. There is some brown algae along the sides, not so much on the front, which is interesting, but looks great. And then my last tank down here, this is the orange lines, and I haven't touched them. And in fact, I was kind of surprised that they're even still alive. I've really struggled to kind of keep them going. And I have a feeling it's just because my water quality, it's just too hard for them. But they're holding strong. In fact, the colony looks good. I've got a lot of blue dreams. You can see my population's kind of exploded. And my lutea crypt is looking really good. I've got a couple, I think that's undulata back there. Crypt undulata, there's 2 of them. But for the most part, it's just all lutea. And I was kind of just growing a lutea meadow. And I think what I'll do is eventually pull, I need to kind of spread them out a little bit. And I kind of like there's not enough contrast between the undulata. I mean, you can see it there. It's taller and darker. But when I'm looking at it, I kind of like, I need something different. It's either going to be all the Walkeri lutea crypt, and I need to get something else in there, break up the monotony. But it looks great. It's coming along really nice. And again, you can see all these tanks, you know, the water level's down, but for the most part, everything is looking really good. So it's good to be back. I hope you guys are doing great. Oh, wait, let me see if I can sneak over here. I've got some, there they are. So they're still alive. My males are looking, their population doesn't grow. For a live bear, they're very slow, in my opinion. In fact, maybe that's a good thing for people who are looking for a live bear that's not going to overwhelm you. The Pictoguppies are great. The only challenge is that they really do require, I think, hard water. So, anyways, it's good to be back. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.